the fact that internet is so new. And I forgot how long it's been since Al Gore discovered it, but it's amazing how creative people have become to be able to make money on it. Mr. Lent and Mr. Snell, I want you to pay close attention to this because you wrote the book about dummies. And so this is all new to me. From my generation, we didn't really that computer literate and how to do these things. But Mr. Lent, you're an agency, an advertising agency, is that correct? So would any of these small business owners contact you about how to go about this advertising, or what would make gun dog supplies sell better, and then would you go purchase these keywords for them? I mean, what kind of package does your agency offer?
It's a wide net right now. There's so many options in terms of marketing online that search is a very effective methodology, but coupled with and I think Mr. Sonar said it best. You really have to have a diverse media plan. You have to look at all of the different opportunities, whether it's display advertising that we referenced or keyword search, a combination of all of those things. I really like what Mr. Carter said about developing new content on a regular basis to drive traffic. So as an agency, first and foremost, we'll sit down and we'll talk to our potential clients or existing clients about what their objectives are, and then we'll put together a strategic plan to accomplish those objectives. And all of these different touch points more than likely would be a part of that overall media mix.
Okay, now let me ask, Mr. Carter mentioned that he sells some of his own advertising, I guess.
Yes.
How does that correlate to you, a small business guy come in, talks to you, you set him up, he starts catching on to this and then starts selling his own advertising. How does that work?
There are a number of what's referred to as advertising networks that essentially represent destination websites, and they will own that advertising and sell it for them on their behalf as if they were a broker selling that traffic. I don't know if Mr. Carter's using a third-party advertising serving network or doing it direct, but usually you'll get a much larger audience if you bring on an agency that does that as their sole focus. That said, there's obviously a very loyal fan base to AskTheBuilder.com, and certainly I'm sure that there's unsolicited requests for sponsorship and advertising that Mr. Carter receives, and based on those requests, he could strike up individual deals with the individual advertisers.
Okay. Now, Mr. Carter, I don't really know how to ask a question. How do you get paid?
That's a great question, Congressman Westmoreland. It's really what I'm going to tell you. You might not even believe it's so simple that I actually can't believe it happens. I'm serious about this. When I started AskTheBuilder.com back in 1995, it was actually a huge website at the time. I had already at that point in time written 100 columns, and I had 100 other supplemental columns that went with the other 100. So I had 200 pages on my website, which was enormous at the time. And I started selling my own ads right away. But the magic happened, and why we're here today, gathered in this room, in 2003, when the people at Google, and I think they were the first, I'm not positive on this, but one of the founders, I believe, Sergey Brin, he saw how successful their ads were on their own website, and he thought, well, you know what? I think this is how it happened. I don't know it for a fact. Why don't we take these same ads and put them out on hundreds of thousands of other websites, and if that website delivers us a customer or a click, we will share some of the advertising revenue with them. Because if you go to Google.com right now, or Yahoo or MSN, and you see it on their webpage and you click it, Google or those websites, they get all of the money because they're doing everything. But if those ads that are on my website If someone clicks one of those ads, I get paid money that day by Google. I get the money at the end of the month. It's wired into my business checking account. But that's the transaction. In other words, it's really no different. I'm also a real estate broker in Ohio. Basically, I'm just brokering the transaction.
Now,
I'm getting paid a brokerage fee.
Right. And I understand that from Google, but when you said you sell your own ads.
Yes. Oh, how do I get paid that way?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. It's really kind of cool. I actually I get the money paid up front. I make the people pay up front for the entire term of the advertising run.
Oh, okay.
I do not have any sophisticated tracking. Well, I have tracking software that allows that customer to know how many times their ad is displayed and clicked, but I can't do the sophisticated work that like Google and Yahoo does, where I have this live auction happening. So
Dancing bears or anything.
Yeah, they just pay me the money up front, and I've been doing it since 1995, and in fact, I actually got my first customer was Pella Windows, and they actually paid me money up front before the website was launched. That they wanted the advertising spot. That's so good.
Congressman
And Mr.
Westmoreland, if you
Snell-
don't mind,
okay.
just to add on to that, I just want to make a distinction between two different types of display advertising. In Google's model and a number of, and Yahoo's model as well, you pay per click. So when a consumer actually clicks on an ad or a search listing, you pay for that click.
Right.
In the case where you're selling sponsorship on your site, sometimes it is a CPM methodology, a cost per thousand methodology. But as Mr. Carter just explained, there's a fixed fee for a duration.
Yeah.
So and what that ad shows up for is a period of time. So for the month of July, when you visit AskTheBuilder.com, you'll see the ad for those windows. Whereas on Google's case, you don't pay unless they click. I just wanted to make that distinction.
Yes.
No,
They would not?
you can't. Yeah, I'm closing my notebook.
Yeah.
No, I would not share that information because keywords. I have a friend of mine who competes with me in another space. He sells the exact same thing that we do on one of our sites. It's baseball bats. And the keywords that convert for him and the keywords that convert for us are actually pretty different, even though we sell similar products. Because one of the retailers is more of a like new product and certain brands, and another is more of like a closeouts or a discounts. And so, based on the tone of your site, different sites selling the exact same thing are going to have like a slightly different keyword universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.